Welcome to Sharks University. Latest neuroscience-backed research from Harvard and Princeton proves that you can rewire your brain in just 7 days, 8 hours a day, not by therapy, but by obsessing about one thing that people told you not to obsess about, and that is money. By intensely thinking about money 8 hours a day, this will physically change your brain forever. And it's a proven fact that it changes how much money you will earn throughout the rest of your life. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly, day by day, what happens to your brain if you only focus on money 7 days in a row. And at the end, how did that permanently change your brain physically for the rest of your life, so you will make way more money than you would initially if you did not do this. On day one, this is a dopamine surge. This goes back to motivation. It's very similar to people watching a motivation video. What happens when you see a bunch of money? Hey, let's get rich. Hey, there's a new way to make money fast and easy, right? This is the dopamine surge stage, okay? What do you do on day one? On day one, you are going to visualize your dream life and financial freedom, set an exact income goal, watch 1 hour of motivational money content, create wealth-focused vision board, all right? So you're basically just picturing your dream life and watching money content. You're watching positive content about money. You can watch it on my channel, you can watch it somewhere else, but this is what you are doing on day one. What happens? You feel a surge of motivation and excitement. Big surprise. This is why everybody keeps scrolling for that next dopamine hit, right? This is day one. Excitement. Your brain connects money goals to future rewards, right? So you picture yourself with a bunch of cash, and you're super motivated and happy because today you are focusing only on money. The brain region that is activated is the ventral tegmental area, okay? Ventral tegmentum area. That's where it is right here. On day two, what happens? This is when strategic thinking activates, okay? What do you do on day two? On day two, you are going to analyze your income, your expenses, your debts, savings, and build or update your budget. So you are basically going to take inventory of everything that you have and do financially in your life today. You're gonna watch 1 hour of content on investing or saving. So if you're not a good saver or you don't invest at all, you're going to watch videos, content about investing and saving to trigger a different part of your brain. What happens to your brain? You shift into logical forward-thinking mode, right? Planning and problem solving becomes sharper. So instead of just on day one, instead of just looking at Rolls Royces and private jets and mansions and I'm gonna be super rich, this day today, you are thinking smart. You're planning for the future. You're thinking about saving instead of blowing it on Lamborghinis, and you're thinking about investing it smartly for the long term. So this activates a totally different part of your brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex. This is a conservative decision-making part of your brain that is now activated. On day three, emotional triggers surface. What do you do on day three? On day three, you're going to journal about past money failures. When you lost money, when you didn't make money, guilt, fear, identify emotional spending habits, watch content about money and emotion, practice 5 minutes of calm breathing, okay? So you're basically just going to reflect on your failures on day five. You're going to reflect on your failures on day five, which is going to make you emotional. Like, hey, I'm 30 years old, I'm 35 years old, I'm 50 years old, I should have way more money because I didn't do this when I was 25, or I didn't join Sharks University, my school, and learn how I started my peanut butter company. As an example, I watched Shark Tank, I didn't start any businesses. So you're reflecting on your failures, and then you're going to practice calm breathing. Emotional intelligence, that it's okay, the game's not over, There's still time. So calm breathing and just reflecting on your failures, and this is going to trigger emotions, right? So what happens to your brain? You feel discomfort and emotional tension. Nobody likes to think about their failures. Your brain confronts fear, shame, and avoidance. Avoid the topic. That's why don't talk about politics, religion, and money, right? Money is one of them. Let's avoid it. I'm not rich. I don't want to talk about it, right? It hits a personal thing inside of you, a personal emotion, because people for some reason think that money is a big part of who they are. It can be a result if you're a normal person and you work hard, but you could also just be a rich idiot. The brain region activated, shame, emotions, avoidance, right? Defense mechanisms is amygdala. I have no idea if I pronounced that correctly, but this is a very tiny piece of your brain, and that's where it's located, all right? Day 4, my favorite. Day 4, my favorite. Ethical conflict arises. Ethical conflict. What does that mean? That means you reflect on your personal ethics around money. Are you an honest person? Do you make money in an honest way, right? You write down your values, what you will and you won't do for money. Because we know there's a lot of scammers and thieves out there that have money and it can piss somebody off, right? Watch videos on greed, scams, and money manipulation. I personally watch American Greed and I've watched it for like 15 years. I have no idea how long it's been on. I try to learn from crooks. Something, anything, and close to 0 times can I find something that they've done illegally. There is a couple things that Bernie Madoff has done, like create scarcity and stuff like that for marketing, but for the most part, there's really not much you can use when you are evaluating crooks, scammers, and criminals, but I do like to watch it. It's just entertaining how insane these people are and how they have no morals, okay? So you're gonna watch greed, scams, money manipulation. Ask, would I break my values to get rich? Would I break my values to get rich? Would you, if you were confronted with a line not to cross, and if somebody said, hey, you can do this and make $300,000 like this, nobody's gonna find out, would you do it? What happens to your brain on day 4 when you're thinking about all this? People are scamming, stealing, making all this easy money, and I'm working my ass off at Starbucks, at Subway. This is not a sponsored video, but if you want to hit me up, hit me up. During this day, you experience internal moral tension. You begin aligning money with personal integrity. I don't want to go to jail. I'm not a thief. I'm good. This is what happens. Or if you're a thief and you're a crook, you're going to think something different. But the brain region activated is anterior cingulate cortex. I think I said it probably wrong, but this is what is activated and this is where it is. All right, so next to your frontal cortex, right behind it, that's where let's think about crime. This is the crime area. This is the scam. This is the scammer area. The scammers have fully developed on the internet, fully developed. Scammers have this, right? Day 5, social awareness deepens. What do you do on day 5? On day 5, you're going to reflect on how money affects your relationships, write about who you trust with money, and why talk to someone openly about your financial goals, study the difference between giving versus hoarding wealth, okay? So basically, reflect on how your relationships are affected with money, right? How does your family deal with it? How does your girlfriend, your brother, your sister, what role does money play? Are you in a rich family where all you talk about is cash? I don't know, but it's a day to reflect and to talk to somebody openly about your financial goals and the differences between saving money, hoarding money, and giving it. So, you guys already know what that means. I'm a money hoarder. I want to die rich. I don't want to spend $1. I'm going to have a horrible, worthless life where I don't do anything fun but it's important that I saved my money so I can have a Rolls Royce when I'm 87 years old. So talk about that. You start connecting money to trust. That's what happens to your brain. And social status, right? Who do I trust? Does my dad always talk to me about money? Does my mom always talk to me about money? Does my dad steal money from me? Does my cousin only call me when he needs something? Is he only friends with me because I have some money? Is he only friends with me because I have a pool and he wants to come over and swim, or I buy him drinks, right? So this is a moral day for you as well, where you are going to think about morally inside of your circle what is going on. The brain region being activated is temporopropensal junction and medial prefrontal cortex. So this is a very big area. A lot of decision making happening there. So this is what's going to be activated. Okay, so this is 7 days in a row. Day 6, identity shift begins. So once again, I'll say it. What you watch, what you do is what you become. What you watch, what you do is exactly what you become. Okay, so this is where your identity starts to change. Okay, what do? You're going to journal about your family and culture shape your money beliefs. List limiting beliefs you grew up with. Watch content about rewiring money mindset. Replace old beliefs with new ones you choose. So you are going to think about what beliefs you have about money. Okay, so here I am, my name is John, and this is what I believe. And now you are going to turn around and watch Change My Mentality content videos. How to change my mindset about money, which is most likely going to be very different than your mindset today. You're most likely, because people that have money make the mindset money videos, you're probably gonna see a little difference there, right? And then what happens to your brain? You begin questioning your old story. Should I really be working at Subway for 15 years straight? Right? You separate who you were from who you want to become. So here I am reflecting. This is what I learned. This is what my parents told me. This is what my friends do. Blah, blah, blah. This is what I believe. I believe I can't get rich. I believe I can't live a good life. I believe I'm gonna have 1 week a year of vacation, and that's really what my life is meant for. Then you're gonna turn around and watch mansions and Bentleys and Ferraris and blah, 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 whatever. Rich people, finance, how they think. Don't save money, invest it. You don't need money to make money. You need money to invest in money, so on and so on. And then you're gonna be like, am I right? Am I right? You're gonna start questioning your old story. This activates your default mode network. And there it is, okay? 2 different areas. Now, on day 7, this is where everything comes together, because whether you think it or not, going through this process, this challenge, this activity, and this is 8 hours a day. I said it briefly and quickly. This is an 8-hour day project, okay? Day 7, your whole brain syncs. The rewire is complete. What does that mean? You, on day 7, reread everything you journaled this week. Write a new money philosophy that reflects how you now see wealth. What did you learn? How do you now see it after reflecting, after thinking about your family, thinking about your old mindset, watching motivation, watching scams, watching all of that? Create a new weekly routine that includes time for financial growth, okay? Record a voice memo of your new mindset. Make a video. Look, I think money is everywhere. I think money is printed. I see a bunch of idiots around me that have a bunch of money. So there's a good chance I can make it too. Millions and millions and millions of people have money. For some reason, I don't, but it is for a reason, right? So what happens to your brain? What happened to your brain physically? By day 7, your brain has undergone a process called neuroplasticity, okay? neuroplasticity, the physical rewiring of neural pathways, okay? New connections have formed between areas that handle decision-making, emotion regulation, and self-perception. You tapped into everything on the topic of money. Your prefrontal cortex now communicates more efficiently with your identity, okay? Your DMN, basically your identity, and your amygdala emotions is less reactive to financial stress. It's like, you understand what this means? Now you have a whole nice picture of who you are, what you think, your new beliefs, what you think about money as a whole. Your brain no longer sees money as a vague concept. Because you have spent 8 hours a day watching people make money, watching people scam, thinking about how you feel with your family, looking at other people, what they do with money. So you no longer see money as a vague concept or threat. You see it as a system you understand and can control. Okay? Why does this matter? Why does this matter? Now that you are permanently, physically rewired, it's not a mindset, it's a biology. Neuroplasticity is a biological thing. It's not a mindset. It's literally a physical thing that happens where your neurons, your physical rewiring is an actual brain connection, a neural connection being thickened, right? That's why people practice free throws in basketball over and over and over and over, so this occurs, okay? There's actually a study that envisioning shooting free throws is the same as shooting free throws. That's another video. So this is a biological thing. You've literally restructured the way your brain responds to money. And because the brain locks into strong repeated patterns, especially over 7 days, focused on attention, this shift is not temporary. This shift is not temporary. I'll give you an example for the end of this video. This is an extreme experiment. I gave it to you at a high level. Doing this for 8 hours a day, watching content 8 hours a day, reflecting 8 hours a day, talking to people 8 hours a day, is pretty aggressive. So is getting into the ring with Mike Tyson for 30 seconds when Mike Tyson was in his prime. So if you get in the ring with Mike Tyson for 30 seconds when he was in his prime, you will never ever be the same for as long as you're alive. You are just not going to punch the same. If you ever get in a fight, you are not going to punch the same. You're gonna remember that 30 seconds because it's traumatic and it's super aggressive, right? It's extreme. So anything extreme that happens in your life changes you forever. And this is why this experiment will rewire you for 7 days, guaranteed. If you do it 8 hours a day, it will change the amount of money you make for the rest of your life. Check out how I copied a $286 million peanut butter company and launched a peanut butter brand in Europe, and it worked. And I'll see you guys in the next video.